it took me a while to get here too, I think, to realize like, I was like, I want to collect something. I don't want to collect elephants. I try to find my own like way. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I just started like collecting like the little disco balls. But then I'm like, you know what? Like, I just really want it to be fun in here. Nervous as soon as you started talking.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the motherfucking #1 comedy podcast about mental health, baby. We are in a new house, we are in a new space. If you are not watching on YouTube, please head over to YouTube on Mental Chillness to see the full video and to see our amazing guest fucking home today. We are in the house of Miss Tiffany.
Hi.
Yay. And as you can see, she has Hamburger in her arms. Hamburger is her little mister. It's so fucking funny. He's like a little fucking old man.
He's my son.
Like a little human, like quite literally a little human.
Yes.
But welcome back, everybody. I am your fairy buff mother. I am Khan. I am Mega Khan. I have Tiffany with me. Tiffany is a new friend, and we're connected by Stephanie. Whenever Stephanie comes on the pod, you'll be able to see the girl behind the scene. But yeah.
What, you haven't been on yet?
No, she keeps saying that she's shy.
What?
I know. I'm like, bitch, do you know you? I'm like, who you lying to? But yeah, welcome to Mental Chillness, Tiff.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? Are you like feeling mentally ill or mentally chill right now?
I was a little mentally ill this morning, but I think I'm feeling pretty chill right now.
Nice.
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm the opposite. I was mentally super chill, and then I was driving here and my tire pressure signal like came on. And literally, I think it's because I have been scammed with my car so much that anytime anything comes on from my car, I freak out because I'm like, okay, now I have to go take it somewhere and no one's going to tell me the truth. And then I'm just going to spend thousands of dollars on
Can I come
shit.
with you, though?
Do you know?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, my God.
So
stop.
I grew up with, like, pretty much all boys. And, like, my dad and my brother and all my cousins are, like, all work on cars.
Oh, my God, yes.
And so I, like, know how to, like, change spark plugs.
Oh, my God, what?
Like, my tire. Yeah, like, oil.
You are, like,
yes.
my dream. Like, you are what I literally, like, aspire to be, but will never work towards.
No,
like,
you can learn everything on YouTube now, but
Oh,
like
I
learn
know.
about your car because like honestly it's going to really help. And like you don't want some like stupid ass dude like trying to rip you off.
That's
like
literally what they do to me every single time.
No.
It's almost like they know.
And I love the car buying process too, by the way, when I buy a car, because men just think that they can like fucking like screw me over. And I'm like, no, I did my fucking research, bitch.
Oh my God,
like
you are literally my dream. You know that? I am literally the opposite of you. When I go and buy a car, I'm like, here you go, just take it.
No.
And I know that is the worst possible thing to do, but like, holy fuck, I wish that I like had the knowledge to be like, try me, bitch.
Okay, so just my father-in-law used to sell cars, and so I learned this from them pretty much. But I would pick a dealership like anywhere in Florida and start there. And so if you like a specific car, you like, let's say like my Volvo, like let's say you want this Volvo and you call a Volvo dealership in Tampa and then they tell you like this is the lowest price that they can give you. They're like, okay, well, thank you. You call the next dealership and like, hey, Tampa is offering me this price. Can you offer me this price? And then they'll sometimes meet you in the middle and then you call the next dealership. It takes time,
Oh my
but
God.
like you can get a really good deal if you just are patient.
Oh my God, that is literally like insane. Okay, so in my adult life, I think this is like something that I am getting ready to take on. But like, holy fuck, my number one like thing that I hate is like, I hate bargaining, and I hate like the inconveniences, right? That I worked this shit out in therapy, okay? Like, okay, because when I was younger, I was really never like listened to, and I was really shy and I was really slow, but I I didn't had like I couldn't really ask a lot over and over and over, whether it was in school or it be at home or whatever. Like there was a set expectation of like you need to be like at this pace as a person, at this pace of learning because you're Asian and you come from this academic ass fucking family that you know.
So who said that you were slow? Like where did that stem from?
So I was never allowed to like have bad grades or whatever it is. There was always like a certain like standard of grades that I had to meet in school, and because at a very young age I knew that I was not gonna meet that shit, I learned how to bullshit my way through school, right? But in doing so, I really kind of like muted myself, because what I really needed was like the ability to ask over and over and over if I didn't understand something.
Yeah, so like I think like calling yourself slow, that's I feel like that's just very, you can
Like
change
detrimental.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so like you can just say, like, for me, I used to be the same way. And then we all learn differently.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like, you know, if you have been taught one way and you've been doing that way, but it's like so difficult, try to figure out a different way to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, I learn this way instead of how, you know, this other person I know learns. So
that's literally what I'm unpacking now.
Yeah.
It's like
we're not slow.
Bro, I went to my
You're not
therapist
slow.
and I was like, okay, so I think I might be autistic. And then he literally was like, okay, so let's work on what is within our control first before we jump to autism.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing against like anyone that obviously like autism and all that. But I mean, for yourself, I feel like, you know, when you called yourself slow, I was like, why?
No, I know.
You know?
And I don't really catch it because I've always thought of myself that way, but it's because truly I was like surrounded by just like academically like really fucking like, you know, inclined people, especially like within my family. And so like one, I didn't really understand things, and then two, I didn't want to learn because there was this pressure for me to do so. All I wanted to do was like rebel against it. So I learned how to like bullshit my way through school, but then I never realized that like, oh, like, yeah, you can do that, but now in my adulthood I don't remember anything. And then I had to unpack why I had such a hard time learning in school. And then I had to like realize like, okay, I might be just like different in my learning style. I have like I have to admit that I have like a learning like anxiety, to where like I feel the need to learn everything. So it's really hard for you to tell me one thing and be like, and this is how this works and that's it, we're gonna move on. Like, no, you need to tell me exactly how it works in every single scenario like that I can apply to, and I need to find like the back way to do this and all that shit, right?
That is exactly how I am.
Yeah. And I just never realized that I'm just a little bit different than like my fucking sister, who never really had to study for things but are so good at everything. My fucking cousin, who like fucking got into Harvard and is like working for NASA, and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but what is that slogan that everyone says? Comparison is, like, what is it? It's like the root of envy or something. Yeah. And so, I mean, I feel like coming from like an Asian family, I can feel that. Like my mom just pressured me to, she wanted me to be a nurse, and I kept rebelling against that. And so when my parents live in Michigan, and I moved down here and to go to college, and so I was away from that situation where anyone can kind of change my view, and so I was able to find my own self, but in the same time, the same time, I was rebelling against everything my parents wanted me to do. So it took me a little bit of time to kind of, you know, to not adult, but to figure my path, or the path that was right for me. I mean, I didn't like really start my career until I was like 30. And so it's like, I feel like we're all just dealing with our trauma in so many different ways that it's like, you know, and like when growing up, it's like, you know, you go to college and then you finish college and then you get married and you have kids, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't want to follow that path. Like that just doesn't feel right for me. And so we're all, you know, I think we just need to accept that everyone's going to be different, and who gives a fuck about like, just as long as you're like, you're happy, or, you know, just stop comparing yourself to everyone else, because that's literally like what I did so much when, especially my younger brother, he's he's very successful, and my parents compared us. Like my mom, really, it was my dad pretty chill, but my mom would compare us as like, you know, your little brother, he just did this and that. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm trying, and I'm here. Like, this was when I was working like 2 jobs, and I was trying to like pay for college, and I like kept feeling like a failure. So it wasn't until my 30s that I was like, I wasn't a failure. I just wanted to find my own way, and I didn't want any other pressures to kind of,
Exactly.
Yeah, and so like we all, it doesn't matter like where you are compared to anyone else. It's like, you do things at your own pace.
That's literally what I'm learning, and a lot of what I realize that a lot of what I'm doing is just I'm undoing everything, right? I'm like what I'm learning is that like, yeah, I'm just reaching like my end goals in my own way, but like it's very interesting to watch other people who are like kind of like basically doing the same thing, but they're on such a different path that like I'm watching the way that they're figuring their shit out. Not to compare in any way, but more so like it's so weird. Like I took a different path after I graduated high school. I did go to college, but I dropped out, and then I basically just don't ask my parents anything. I just ask for forgiveness. Like, whether you choose to forgive me or not, that's on you. But, like, I have always known that, like, I'm gonna do shit, like, that I want, right? Like, that's why I cheated my way through school, because, yeah, I'm gonna get through school, but, like, my own way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna go through things my own way. And so, like, now I'm just, like, basically, like, I learned how to make money for myself. I learned how to, like, provide for myself. I learned, like, how to, like, provide myself with, like, financial freedom. Now I'm learning how to, like, elevate that into, like, how to create things that are going to, like, help me serve my purpose. And then later on, how am I going to be able to, like, in return, provide for my family, like, all this different shit. And I'm watching my friends do it, too. But they took, like, a different path. You know, like they stay with their parents because they had a different relationship. They are being supported by their parents because they have a different relationship. Like just watching people do things differently, and it's so interesting to me because when we all get together and talk, we're all realizing most of us are realizing the same like conclusion to things, right? But it's like funny, like watching us all just like undoing things in our own way. Like we're all learning basic shit as we're growing into adulthood, but we're learning it differently, and we're undoing the things that our own parents taught us differently, and ways that we view ourselves and the world and whatever. And I always kind of had like such trouble being around younger people than me, but just now am I like, holy fuck, I feel like I'm the adult now, and I like have to be able to be the wiser and whatever the fuck. Like I kind of have to be able to stand you guys. And you know, like it's a weird transition. I don't know why.
I've never thought of myself as like I have to be an adult in this
relationship. No, not situation. Not like that, but more so like I've always kind of had a weird time relating to the people that are younger than me in like just like mindset, right? And the things that you talk about and the way that you pass your time and whatever.
Yeah,
right? Not that like I don't think that adults have shit figured out at all. And so now I don't view anybody as an adult really. Yeah. But I had always kind of like I was always like, why am I so annoyed around these little kids? And now I'm like, oh my God, no, you're literally just growing, and you're like in your own, you know, you're going through your own thing. I understand when I was that point, and I know how you feel and why you're being so annoying right now, and you know, and it's so
that's
weird.
So like that's very like empathetic of you to like think that way, because I don't like kids. Oh. In general,
I don't know.
I like so most of my family live up in Michigan, and like all of my family in Florida are really cool. But in Michigan, it's kind of like it's just like Filipino town. So there's just so many Filipinos there, and all of my cousins are there, and there's so many kids. So the last time I was there, I hadn't been in that environment for like 15 years. So when I walked into one of my cousin's house and I just hear all of these children screaming and adults screaming, and I'm like, it just hit me. I'm like, I can't do this. I legit just shut down right there. And I'm just like, I can't stand like people that are like just loud and in your face and obnoxious and screaming children.
Yeah.
But then I think that was when I realized I do not want to be a mom. Like I just wouldn't be a good mom at all.
I think and that's all right.
Yeah, and so I love my nieces, and I have a new nephew I haven't met yet, but like I'm totally cool with them. It's just the thought of me having like another human besides my husband in here. Dude. It just makes me want to vomit.
Well, I kind of want to vomit, but I also am amazed at like parents, especially parents who are like my age, like my friends.
Oh, fuck
watching them talk to children, I am literally like, so like I think of myself really nice and high and, you know, good person, all of that shit, but then I cannot absolutely put myself in your shoe because I would smack that child. Like literally when a kid starts fucking like crying in the restaurant that I work at, I turn around and I'm literally mumbling like, somebody better shut their fucking kid up or I will. Like, are you kidding me? And then I see people talk to them and I'm like, how are you such an angel? Like,
I mean, they really are. And can you fucking imagine the time that they had to give up to freaking raise that child?
I know.
When I work from home and I like log off whenever my husband gets home, and I feel like we don't even have that much time after work. Like we have to make dinner, we gotta clean up and like take him out. I'm like, how the fuck do parents do this shit? Because
absolutely no idea.
I need my fucking 8 hours of sleep or I'm a monster. Like I turn into legit, like no one can talk to me. And so
it's insane. But it's insane. Like, and this is like really funny that I'm comparing a dog, but like, bitch, when I had a dog for like 6 months, in my mind, I literally turned into like a completely different person. I was like, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing anything. I need to walk Corbin for 3 hours. I need to like literally like devote all my time so that this dog can feel so loved and whatever. Like, and then I think about like literally if I had a fucking human, would I even live? Like,
would the other human live? Would that survive?
Actually,
literally.
I don't know if I can do that. Like, that's why I'm like, I do think highly of myself. I do, but then I put myself in like raising children's shoes, and I'm like, maybe we're not meant for that.
No,
maybe we're just.
And I think this generation, we're figuring that out, that it's not like for everyone. And I think back, you know, in like my parents' generation, maybe I'm not sure how old you are, but they were pretty much raised to like, you get married at a certain age and then you have kids.
Divorce is not a thing.
Yeah.
My grandma, literally both of my grandmas, all they did was birth children.
Yes.
One of my grandma had 12 kids.
Oh man.
And then my other grandma had 7, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you've been married since you were 14.
Yeah.
All you have done is pop out children.
They didn't have birth control.
No.
They didn't have access to birth control.
No.
Or like, you know, like they don't have.
And me sitting here like my pussy is like tightened up thinking about one fucking child. Are you kidding me? It's like sewing itself up. Like,
I mean, the moment you watch a video of like childbirth,
oh my god. I do not dare.
I mean, I don't think they do it now, but like, you know what a episiotomy is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so like the first time I had seen one like for anatomy class, I was like,
oh my god, no.
Fuck no. Like, I cannot imagine. And then can you imagine peeing while having stitches and pooping?
Are you kidding?
Well, like
then you have to wear a diaper.
Oh my god, but everything will sting. Like, I'm just thinking of like stitches and like peeing on it, like, and like having to poop.
Whoever is taking care of me, whoever my partner is, I'm gonna be like, listen, girl, get the fuck ready. Like,
oh my god,
it's not gonna be the pregnancy that's gonna be the shit that sucks for you.
Oh my god,
it's childbirth for me. Like, what?
How did this conversation end up here? Stitching up vaginas.
Literally, the point is that we love and respect women who are like out here birthing children.
Exactly.
Like, well, honestly, to be honest, I think about like if I do ever think about having children, I really do think that I'm gonna adopt.
That's good.
And I really. 50% of it truly is because I do not want to go through childbirth. Like, I just don't think that I have that in me.
No, and like, that's okay.
It's kind of wild.
Totally fine, because I can't imagine me being. I mean, I would be a monster,
no.
Like a walking monster. My husband, he spoils me like pretty. I mean, he's like the greatest guy. Like, he does everything for me, like my laundry and everything. I cannot freaking imagine me like now. I'm already very demanding, but like me as a pregnant woman.
Oh man.
That he would have no life. Like, he would literally just be serving me for like 9 months straight. Like,
oh my god.
That I would just turn into like the biggest, I mean, legit monster if I was pregnant. I can't imagine. And the hormones.
And then, okay, this is my thing though. Okay, Rihanna just popped out one, pregnant again. Looks like she's glowing. I'm like, okay, so like, it's the secret to do it back to back to back so that your body is like already enduring it. Or like, are there literally people out there that are like, I love this shit?
I mean, so I'm about to finish Michelle Buteau's book.
Oh, I love that bitch.
Oh my god! And so she talks about like going through IVF and adopting and all that. And so I don't even know what the point I was trying to make.
I don't even know how we started talking about this. So
what were we just like? And children. I don't know what the point I was trying to make. But anyways, the book is amazing, and she really does touch on like the struggles and everything of, you know, like going through IVF and then adopting and then surrogacy and all that stuff. And like, I mean, the one thing I just want to say about that is that America's healthcare fucking sucks.
Yes, it does.
And like, I don't understand how Viagra is covered by like insurance, but like, if a woman wants to have a child, IVF, you have to pay cash for, and like hormone treatment and all that stuff. That's not covered. That's just not covered.
But and also, so, like, how are there like any jobs at all that are not covering for maternity leave? That are not letting people have maternity leave? Yeah. Like, even what is it, paternity leave? Like,
yeah, paternity. That's
just as important.
Yeah,
like,
it really is. Adoption. I mean, like that. I mean, you're literally bringing a human into your home. Like, you like legit need time off and like to bond with this, you know, with this other human. And like I mean, I don't even know if there's like leave for adoption. Is there?
I don't know. I have never thought.
Yeah,
about it.
I know my company does offer it, but they're not based here in America. They're European, and so like they haven't fucking figured out over there. By the way,
really do.
No, yeah, and so I'm just like I don't even know if that's a thing that people do here. But
no, I don't actually. I've never really heard of it.
Yeah,
I literally just realized what paternity leave is like a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was like, holy fuck, you're right. That is important.
Yeah, like everyone else, like Canada has paternity leave. Like we don't. America hates their own people, I swear. Yeah. So, but I don't even know how we got here.
All right, to make it a lighter change of events.
We're just like, fuck the patriarchy, but like, yes. Okay, anyways, yes.
But anyway, so if you guys haven't noticed, we're in the home of the knick, knack, queeeen, and this is actually like what drawn me to Tiffany. And the reason why is because when I was in my mom's house, I literally like always changed my room. It was like the only thing that I could change. So I changed it around a lot, right? But it was always like moving beds, whatever. Then by the time that I moved out on my own, I had this whole like thing in my head that I'm like, I'm gonna decorate her so cute. I'm gonna make it my sanctuary. I'm gonna blah, 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 blah. Literally, I lived for 2 years. I lived with no bed frame, no real bed. Like nothing on my wall, nothing. There was just like a couple plants like in my living room and shit. And then I realized, I was like, oh my god, like this is actually kind of like, this is a lot of work. Like thinking about what to put in here, going to get the shit, thinking about like planning it out, living like, you know, setting up the feng shui, all of this shit. And then like, but then I realized more and more that like, oh my god, like it's really important that I like my space. It's really important that I like what I'm coming home to, what I sleep in, my house, what I'm looking at, because it really is my sanctuary. I do want to be home more. I do want to like my space, and I do want to feel, you know, inspired and whatever. But I didn't realize it until like a little bit later. I'm 24 right now. And just now do I think that I'm finally like, okay, my house has like a vibe. There's nothing but plants in there. Aww. Plants and like art and stuff. But now I'm like, oh my god, I think I actually am getting into knickknacks. Like, I think I'm starting to like really like appreciate and enjoy like the little things and just like fun, weird art just for the sake of fun, weird art.
For sure. No, you know? But I just have to go back to what you were saying, like how you lived in like 2 years with like nothing. this shit takes time. Like, I've been here 5 years, and this is probably the first year that I just feel like this is home. Like,
Yeah.
I love coming home, but it took 4 years to get there. So that shit takes time. You also, I mean, like, you want to have a feel for your space and what you can fit in here. And like, now that you have a vibe, which is super impressive because you're 24, I did not know how to decorate a house until my 30s, by the way. But you have this idea, or you have this feeling. It's pretty much like a feeling in the end. Like, I used to have like a mood board, and I followed so many people on Instagram, and I wanted a copy, and like, I was like, oh, this just looks so pretty and clean, and I wanted a copy of stuff. And I'm like realizing, I'm like, this is not really how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And so this is when I started incorporating a lot of little things with color, and then I started bringing in more color.
Yeah.
And so things really, I mean, it's looked so different in here every single year, but this is the first year I'm just like, I love coming in, and it just feels like you're just walking into some sort of like fun house. Like, I think
It really is a fun house.
yeah, like someone had come over here a couple of weeks ago for the first time, and they're like, every time I look somewhere else, there's somewhere new, like, or something new that I didn't know was there. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like, that's what you like. I want to come home and just like feel that same feeling. Like, oh my God, I forgot I have a freaking carnival horse in here.
Literally.
Which her name is Neonce, by the way.
Stop.
Hello, Neonce.
Wait, what was your old fish name, or
Oh, my little fish, Vin Diesel.
I cannot with this fucking shit, dude. There's disco balls and shit everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so much shit in the bathroom. Like, oh my God, this, like, it's literally like quite amazing.
Well, thank you so much. It takes time, though. Shit takes time. You don't want to rush it. You want to really bring things home that that you know you're gonna love, because it is kind of a pain in the ass moving everything. But
Yeah.
a lot of my favorite pieces are actually thrifted in here.
That's what I'm starting to
Yes.
do. Everything in my house now is like thrifted. Like thrifting, I'm thrifting like weird, like colorful, big ass vases.
Yes,
and like
and
whatever.
it's like sustainable, and I mean, all of those styles are coming back, but it doesn't even like matter in terms of like the trends. I just say, if you feel like just home and just joy and happiness when you
Yeah.
walk in, who gives a fuck what style it is? It doesn't have to have some sort of like, it doesn't have to fall under a category. So I just say, bring things home that just make you feel like happy, or like makes you think of a memory. Like, some of my
Yeah.
things do have like memories attached, like the lamp behind you with the holes.
Yeah.
We named her Holy
She's
Spirit.
gorgeous.
I am like
Are you a
completely.
nickname girl?
Sometimes I am.
I'm a weird nickname girl.
Yeah,
I want to call everyone. I don't know why. So like, if your name was Tiff, if we were to work together, eventually I'll be like Tiffy.
Yeah, oh, for
Like,
sure.
So weird.
I think I'm the same way. Well, a lot of these things have names, like my figgy leaf.
What's your figgy's name?
It's Figgy Pop.
Mine is Fifi the figgy fiddle leaf tree.
Oh, Fifi! This is Figgy Pop. But yeah, like things, I mean, like, going back to the lamp, I got that in Italy last year and like had it shipped here because it was handmade by some guy that lived in like Tuscany. And I'm like, this is, and it wasn't even me that saw this. It was the husband, Brandon. He was the one that's like, hey, you gotta come here and look at it. And we were at some ceramic like warehouse factory place where they
my
make
God.
shit. And I'm like, I have to fucking have that. And that was like the one thing I bought myself on that trip. I was like, okay, like it was like the second day we were there, and like Brandon was like, are you sure you want to get this? Because I made a budget for myself. I'm like, you know what, like, I will regret not taking this home, and this is my one souvenir from this trip. So every time I look at her, I'm like, you were made by some Italian dude, and I'm like, you were too fucking cool. I fucking love you. So yeah, like every time I look around, I'm like,
I feel
God.
like you have to trust that little instinct of like, if I don't get it, I'm gonna think about it and regret it, like all the time.
Yep.
I like sacrifice, like I do that a lot with like shoes, especially because I love shoes, and like just like weird clothing pieces, and then like just like weird like I just love weird shit, right?
Oh.
So when I see something and I'm like, I will literally never see that again in my life. I need it.
Yeah.
And I would just take it.
That's legit. I mean, that's like thrifting too. Like you're like, fuck, this is so unique. There's probably not like another person that could set it up the way I do. You know, it's just it's so much fun. And like I mean, I know a lot of people out there aren't really into like some of these crazy things that are in here, but like, you know, there's some people that have like just gray homes or like the live, laugh, love people. Those were the people that were like fucking, they were dragging me on Reddit recently. And so like the other day I put this on my stories on Instagram. So I had posted a photo on Reddit and it was just literally just a photo. It was a night photo in here with all my twinkle lights. It's so pretty in here at night, by the way. Oh my God. It's like a whole fucking vibe. Oh my God. But I posted on Reddit and I completely forgot about it. And the next day I saw, and they're like, the mods had to turn off the comments because people were not playing nice. And so I went in and saw a shit ton of comments, like, mostly like, I mean, there were a lot of people like hating on the pillows in here, or someone else said like, this is clutter. And like, I'm just like, you know what? They're just fucking jealous. Or like, go back to your fucking like, you know, boring ass houses. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, but like the hands really triggered a lot of people.
Oh my God,
the Xanax pillow triggered a lot of people. It was kind of freaking hilarious. But I'm just like, these people, like, you can keep commenting, but like, but what was the point of that? You're just like wasting your negative energy. And like, I'm not going to change anything because you say that the fucking hand pillows like are terrifying and they're like fuel nightmare or some shit. Like, oh my God, there's so many comments. Like, it was freaking hilarious.
Honestly, I think like a very generalized opinion about that group of people, and the word is like boring. Boring,
exactly.
Because like, dude, what the fuck is the whole point about life if you don't like the little fucking knickknacks?
Like make your fucking house fun. Like, why? Who said that we had to have like these boring ass houses? Like, just like, you know, I mean, my husband, he's super minimalist, and I'm so sorry. Like, we're exactly opposite. But, like, I'm just like, that's just too boring.
Wait, did you guys, like, even have a debate of, like, and he's like, so what I want our house to look like is?
There's no debate. Never a debate. He just, I mean, he has his things, and everything is very tidy and, like literally organized very specifically, and like I have my shit, which is pretty much everything else, but he just lets me do whatever. He really hates the bathroom, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And the dining table,
oh my God, I bet he was that. Like, bro, the bathroom was the one thing I had. Like, that was literally the one thing.
He's just like, do whatever.
Why does he hate that so much? I love that.
Okay, the table. So okay, so that was hamburger. That was a marketplace find. I think it was over Christmas break where I found it on Marketplace, and it was $70, I think, or it was like less than that. And so it was just like this old lady that was just trying to find it a good home. And so I told Brandon, I'm like, hey, I want this fucking table. This is my table.
It's so
and
good.
Like, yeah. And I'm like, this is perfect for the house. And he's like, oh God, if we had to make a whole night of it, because we had to borrow my cousin's truck, which they live on the other side of town over near UCF. Then we had to drive out to Windermere to pick up the table, and we get there and it is so fucking heavy.
Oh my
God. Is several hundred pounds. And so Brandon is not sporty. He does not know, he doesn't work out. And so when we get there and we try to lift it, he was just like, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? And so the guy helped him get it in the truck. And then when we got here, we couldn't get it into like through the doors. It was too heavy for he and I to do it. So I had to call one of my friends up on the 25th floor, and she sent her husband down to help us. And so it was this whole thing. It literally took a village to get this thing in here, because security had to help us. I mean, it was this whole thing that we thought would only take like 2 hours, and it like took the entire night. I don't think we were like in here until like 1 a.m. or some shit like that.
You really gotta want me there.
I know. And so Brandon was like, when we bring this shit in here, he's like, this thing is not leaving. He's like, if it is, whoever buys it from you, has to take it because he thought I was going to sell it like after a week because he's like, you're not going to like the table. You're not. He was trying to convince me so hard to get rid of the table.
Sabotage you.
I know, but he just had so many bad memories connected to that table. And I'm like, he's super traumatized. And I'm like, bitch, we're not getting rid of this table. Like, this table would cost so much money if I like found it anywhere else.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And
Are you kidding?
And it extends too. It's super cool. But it is real fucking heavy. Like,
imagine if you bought that shit new and the factory was like, so for your shipping costs,
I know.
Cost, the charge of 3 large men.
Jesus. But this was like when they built furniture really well. Like, it must be from like the 80s or 90s. Yeah. And so they don't make shit like that anymore. But yeah, so that's the whole thing. But he really does. Like, he lets me do whatever, and like he'll just every once in a while I'll let him complain, like, just about stuff. And he just, he's super nice about it. But he's like, I don't like living this way, or I didn't like living this way, or whatever. But he's like, because you're so happy, he's like, it's totally fine.
Oh
but
my God,
like,
love is literally real, dude.
But he just sacrifices so much. As long as he's got his own little space, like for his like guitars. I mean, I play guitar too, but like his video games and stuff, that's all he needs. He doesn't need a whole lot, and then everything else is just like
that is so
mess.
crazy. You want to know what the craziest fucking shit is? It's so weird how like life just like all weirdly like connects. Your balcony, your balcony patio thing. I literally, every single time I'm on the road in my car, I will look up at your apartment and I will always wonder 2 things. 1, damn, I wonder how the inside of that building looks like. And then 2, damn, I wonder whose house that is because they got plants out there and I like that. Literally for years, Tiffany. And now that I'm literally sitting here looking outside, I'm like, I am pretty sure this is the house that I wonder about every fucking time I pass. I'm like, I remember that plant in that corner.
Remember that plant? Yeah, that plant's been there forever.
I know.
Did you ever see it when I was protesting Roe v. Wade last year?
Yes!
And I hung all of the bras outside my balcony?
I literally was like, oh my God, this is so wild. Like, what the fuck?
I got in trouble by my HOA, by the way, because of that. But I protested HOA. I was like, fuck you guys.
HOA in here too?
Yeah, they suck. They're
That's
terrible.
Weird.
Yeah, and I'm not sorry. So if anyone's listening that is in the HOA, y'all fucking suck. Like, oh my God. But yeah, like the bras, that was a whole thing. And I know a lot of people drove by to see it because
so
I was like,
funny.
fuck, all my bras are out here. Yep. Defund the HOA. Yeah, that's literally like what I was posting for a good hot minute because I was so mad.
I'm pretty sure literally the entire world was with you on that. Defund the fucking HOA, and everybody that's the neighborhood watch.
Yep.
That's like literally sitting outside reporting like, hey, they have friends over that park like a meter over the fucking sidewalk. Like,
or the people who, just like call because there's like 5 cars out, like, and they think they're having like this crazy ass party and like, I don't know. No. We used to get like, I grew up in a very small town and people would call the cops on us all the fucking time. It was at least like twice a year. Yeah, someone would call the cops on my parents because they would always throw these. You know how it is with fucking Asian families.
Especially Filipinos.
Yes.
They're like literally like the partiers of all
Oh
Asians.
my God, we had like strippers at my house once. And so like
this is literally the difference between like the Asian household. Strippers from your parents?
Yes, so like my dad was throwing one of my cousins a bachelor party and like and so
party.
Yeah, they had strippers like in the garage.
My family's
and,
like, no, you're giving yourself away and you're saving yourself to
my God,
like,
no.
Literally like Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, we have so many stories. Like my brother and I just have like the most hilarious stories. But like, yeah, he was throwing a bachelor party for one of my cousins in the garage, and I guess one of the neighbors just like they were partying out too late or something. They were being loud, so they called the cops. The cops came, and my dad had sent the strippers up to my room because he's like, oh yeah, my daughter will tell you where to go. And I had friends over that night too, and they didn't know that there were strippers, and there was like guys in my like room. And so when the strippers were like, hey, where's the bathroom? I'm like, oh yeah, I was just like pointing in like the direction where they need to go. And like some of my friends are like, you just acted like this was something that happens all the time in here. I'm like, no, I'm just not surprised anymore. Like, we've gotten the cops called on us so many times that it just doesn't. Yeah, we were the party house, like, growing up. Like, we, like, threw parties.
You were the cool Asian girl.
No, I had, like, one Asian friend in high school because it was just the two of us. And, like, I don't know. Like, I used to get picked on all the time. That's why I have my little rice cooker tattoo, because kids used to throw rice on my car.
What?
Yes, in high school.
Serious?
I swear to you. Yes, they used to, like, they thought it was fucking hilarious dumping uncooked rice, and I would just get so pissed. I'm like, God damn it. Like, I'm like, this is fucking, rice is like treasure to Filipinos,
Literally.
you know? It's like gold. And I'm like, these kids are just fucking
It's so
wasting it because,
disrespectful.
yeah, and they're picking on me, but they're also like fucking just throwing away rice that could be cooked. Like, it's seriously. But like, yeah, I used to get picked. I fucking hated living there. And that's why I left when I was 18. But my parents, they did know how to like have a good time. And so
They sounded like they did.
my dad is, I mean, like, both of them, like, my parents, we had a really tough relationship growing up. They were never home. And my mom was probably very similar to your parents. Like, you just have to have good grades and go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that was literally all, but they were never home. So they didn't have, like, they really didn't have accountability.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, they couldn't measure. Like, they really didn't know what the hell we were doing.
It's
but they were
kinda
just
wild,
saying,
too.
yeah. Right? And they were just saying, you got to do this. But, like, we were just like, okay, but, like, why? You know, like, but you're not even here. You're not even helping us. Like,
Yeah.
but, like, you know, I knew that they, like, as an adult, they did do their best, especially from, like, you know, coming from the Philippines. And, like, that shit's, like,
It's
tough.
kind of crazy that parents really just trusted you to, like, you know,
Yeah.
do shit.
We did. I mean, we were always just home by ourselves all the time. And then, like, I remember one year, I think it was like my 16th or 17th birthday, my parents decided to go to the Philippines, like, over my birthday for like a month. And so they just like left us money and like just told my cousins to check on us. And like, it was just me and my younger brother, which is fine. I mean, I was 16. And so I don't think that's
No,
like
absolutely, it's fine. But the fact that they trusted you
yeah.
so hard.
And
like,
so what they were like, all the cousins will like check in on them. And some of my cousins, who I'm really close with, they actually live down here in Florida now. They would check in, but then we would also like throw parties at the house. And like, you know, we were the party house. My parents used, like, they partied a lot. And then we also kind of had like the parties,
That's
but it was just like amongst like other kids, like not from my high school. I did not have any high school friends. It was
Yeah.
like older people that I was always friends with. Yeah. But, it did teach me a lot of lessons living up there. And I just, you know, it made me realize that, like, as much as I complain about, like, growing up in that situation, like, I did appreciate the fact that, like, my parents did kind of let us do whatever the fuck we wanted.
Yeah.
Or get us, you know, get away with shit, you know?
Exactly. I think about it all the time. Like, my parents were really strict, and my parents were like kind of different. Like, they also were never home, and they worked a lot. But like, we weren't born and raised here, so my whole family and I moved here in 2008.
Oh, wow.
So it was more like my parents had to work all the time. We didn't have a lot of money and whatever. But like, because they also came from like a different mindset.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was the only like rebel, I guess, growing up. Like, I'm the middle child.
You're the middle
So
child.
I was like, you know, always the one getting in trouble and whatever. But if I really think about it, my parents weren't like that strict because they kind of like trusted us to be good, but then also like they were like out of sight, out of mind a lot of things. I know that it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Because I watch like kids now, or like just kids telling me things now, and I'm like if their parents are really on their ass, I'm like, holy fuck, like, how do your parents expect you to,
I've
you know?
seen like some kids being tracked by their parents. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
I know.
my God, I
know.
can't imagine. I would fucking, oh no.
Dude,
like,
a girl that I know tells me that in her younger years or whatever the fuck, her dad used to literally Photoshop block her butt on her pictures on like her Instagram and social media and stuff. And I was like, the fact that like your dad is even on your Instagram looking at your
so
pictures
weird.
or monetize, like any of that at all, which is why I'm like, bro, I'm like, thank God that I like grew up in the way that I did with my parents. And like, even though a lot of things were not their fault because I really was like fucking off by myself, I had the freedom to fuck off by myself and kind of learn
Well, I was just gonna
Shit.
say, like, my parents wouldn't even know how to use like Instagram or Snapchat or anything. So I'm like, I could not fucking imagine growing up in this like day and age because I would.
No, but like,
No.
dude, your parents tracking you. My shit was always like, I'm going to study. Bye. I'll be back in 7 hours.
Yep.
Like
No.
literally, like, and I'm like at the beach. As long as I get myself there and back without them knowing, we're done.
I love it. I love it. But going back to the knick-knack conversation, did your parents collect anything?
Oh my god, my parents are hoarders.
Okay, so did they like have a collection of anything specific, or was it just like hoarding everything?
So it's not my dad, it's my mom.
Okay.
And then my sister is the same way, but this is why I feel like I was so disconnected from knickknacks until now.
Okay.
I hated the fact that like nothing could be thrown away. And it wasn't like they were collecting specific things. It was more so that my parents came from like a survival mindset. They came from like the wars
survival
and all
mode,
of these things. And when we moved over here, and everything is about survival. So they are very humble, very like, you know, they treasure everything and they're very grateful and everything. So you can never throw things away unless you used everything to the fullest of its like, you know, like being. So like literally to the point where I will like throw shit away from my room, like my notebook or anything at all. And my mom will be like literally writing with the notebook that I threw away yesterday in the trash can because she took it out of the trash can and be like, why did you throw this away? This was still good.
Really?
Just like shit like that. Like it's, and not because like they're just, not because there's something wrong with them and like they hoard or whatever the fuck, but it's more so like my parents are insane. Like they can find a use for everything. They don't have like a wasteful mentality like me. Like they're not like, I'm like a very like, I'm a luxurious bitch, okay? Like the only things in life that I want is convenience and like just, you know, like convenience. And my parents are very like, we will make do with anything and everything people. Yeah. And so like the entire house was always like them collecting shit that they think they can use for whatever. So my mom's entire garden, dude, and I say this with like the most respect. I'm not like mocking this in any way. I only say it because in a way where I'm like, bro, I cannot be like that. My mom's garden is literally like she plants her shit in like our old sinks. And like
that's amazing though.
She's literally
that's a vibe.
What is it like composting?
Yes.
In our old bathtub. The fucking backyard.
I feel like it's like the immigrant like parents, immigrant Asian parents. They know how to fucking recycle.
They
like,
do.
They really do.
Literally, like she still wears like my fucking shoes or hats or whatever it is that I literally had when I thrifted in 9th grade. I'm like, holy fuck, how? But then at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to tell you to throw it away because, you know, whatever. But that's why now I feel like am I like, oh my God, maybe I do like things. You know, like, but I just had to like get away from other people's things because I hated like. You
hated their things and you're just like, I can't,
Yeah, no, in the same way that like, oh my God, I used to fucking hate when my aunt would always make us take pictures. I hated that my aunts would document every fucking thing and everything was like, smile for the picture, smile for the picture. And I hated it so much, but now I'm like a fucking smile for the picture bitch. Like now I'm like I will capture literally anything and everything in every moment, and I realized that I'm my aunt's, but like I literally had to like get away from it to like find my own way back to it. It's very weird.
No,
you know?
I think we all have to go through that actually. My mom, she had a collection of elephants. Like, I mean, hundreds of elephants, and like she's got like little glass, like
where were they?
Yeah, they were like little miniatures, like they're just from travels, and people like realized she collected elephants. So every time someone would go out of country, they would bring her back an elephant from that particular place, and they're all like really pretty, like jade or like they're like. And it really is, but then she also has like kitschy ones in there too, but like I think that's where maybe my thing of like collecting stuff started, I think, because I'm like, oh, if my mom had this, I probably want to collect stuff. But she's also OG plant lady. She's got a lot of plants in there. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, she hoards plants. Like she doesn't know how to like, she would never throw away a living thing. So she would like always propagate. And she's got like shelves and shelves of just the same exact plant. I'm like,
my mom is kind of different in the way where she's like, she is so like on board with like the letting go process of shit. She will cut anything and everything, and I will be like, dude, I literally treasure that shit so much, and she'll be like, bro, it'll grow back in 3 weeks. Like,
Well, then my mom's very similar too. She's the only person I would trust to house sit for us for a very long, if we were going to be gone for more than 2 weeks, because she would be the only person I could trust with my plants. You know, I know that she would like really, like, she wouldn't kill any of my plants. But anyways, but yeah. So I think that's legit, like the knickknacks starting. And I think it took me a while to get here too. I think to realize, like, I was like, you know, I want to collect something. I don't want to collect elephants. I try to find my own like way. I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I just started like collecting like the little disco balls, but then I'm like, you know what? Like, I just really want it to be fun in here. And like, yeah, I don't know. Someone on my Instagram had mentioned that like the lighting in your house is kind of like Florence, like in the middle of like Florence at night. And so I'm like, oh, I want a carnival horse now, like, because that's like the thing, like in the middle of Florence. I'm like, so that's when Nayance came in. But like, a lot of things in here really are like secondhand, I would say, except for the couch, the thing behind you, my piano, but like a lot of other stuff is
I love that
thrifted.
so much. I'm in the process of finding the coolest clowns for my sister. So my sister is obsessed with clowns. It's like, it's so fucking
Does she
funny.
like creepy clowns?
She loves all clowns.
Oh my God.
Literally her entire wall in her room. So like literally, I've had my friends, I've commissioned people to paint clowns for her. Everywhere she goes, she finds a clown. So like there's a clown wall. Like her bed, like behind her bed, it's just like frames of clowns. So like I'm in the process of like finding weird fucking clowns that I can put around the house for her.
Do you stock Marketplace?
No.
You need to, because there's some really fucking crazy clown things in there. Because I sometimes will just search carnival and then clowns will pop up, and like there's some creepy AF ones. I'm like, oh my God, this would be so cool, but like I would probably be terrified.
Yeah, no, I think she would love flash
Oh my God, Hamburger is just totally loving this life, by the way. Like,
I know,
he's just like
so fucking spoiled.
He's just chill, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm actually the star of the show.
That is so fucking funny. If my parents were to see the way that you are holding your dog, they would be like, what the
Really? Did you not have animals growing up?
No, dude. So our parents, no, we did have animals, but in Vietnam. And in Vietnam, animals are completely different. But yeah, animals are completely different in Vietnam. So like, they were like house guard dogs. So our parents don't have like that kind of relationship with animals to where it's like, it's a companion and whatever, whatever. Yeah.
I think in the Philippines it's the same way, but for some reason my mom was just like the Humane Society. Like, she loves animals. My mom, we had like 6 dogs growing up, and then at one point I think we had 18 kittens and like a turtle, a rabbit. Like, we had all sorts of animals. And so I think maybe that's another thing, how like I just really wanted to like, that's where my hoarding started.
I love it.
I
love
wish
that.
I could
You're
have
just
like
listing out all the things you got from your mom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that I'm kind of, you know, like, just I just love things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But I like that you have a love for things, because a lot of people don't love things at all. It's the same way that I feel about the way that people dress themselves. The way that I dress myself is that my body is like literally a canvas for whatever I want, in whatever mood that I want to be in, whether it be comfy or whatever. And I'm never like I need to look a certain way to look good. I'm like, as long as I fucking feel good,
Yeah.
and I feel cool.
That's
like,
how
I'm
it
good.
should be.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Like,
your mindset. Yeah.
it's the way that you are expressing. So why do you box yourself in like a certain like criteria of what you think other people should look at you and think? Like, people can think whatever the fuck they want when they look at you, and that should not be the thing that matters. It should be how you feel about yourself.
Exactly.
You know, and so like
we need to embrace that.
Exactly. And so that's how I feel about like people liking weird shit. It's the same way that I feel when I wear something weird and somebody's like, oh my God, I could never wear that, but that looks good on you. And the first thing that comes to my mind is like, why couldn't you wear that?
Yeah.
You can't wear that because you're telling yourself you can't wear that.
Exactly. Anyone can wear anything.
I feel the same way about haircuts, literally any form of like self-expression. I'm like, you can literally do whatever you want.
I love it when people are loud. It's just, it makes things so much more interesting, and there's so much to look at, and it's like, it's really just, it's art and it's beauty, and I love it when people have the fucking guts to do that shit. Yeah.
I think that's why I'm like so drawn to you. I'm like, that bitch just does it. I love it. I love it. So we are reaching the end of our podcast episode, and we ended with a segment called Quit That Shit.
Okay.
And Quit That Shit is basically when we hold each other accountable for something that we are trying to let go of that's no longer serving us, and we are just saying it out loud. And we're holding like ourselves accountable too. So I will start so that you have some time to think. But my quit that shit is something that I'm slowly unpacking in therapy. But my quit that shit is I'm gonna quit fearing spending time with myself, and instead like and stop trying to pass the time with myself. So what I realized recently is that a lot of time I will smoke and stuff, and it's because like I will smoke because I know that it will make me feel better, and then this portion of time will go by like more interestingly. But if I really think about it, that's just me trying to pass the time. I'm not really intentionally learning how to spend the time with myself. I'm like differentiating that now. So now I'm like, okay, like I want to learn how to spend time with myself. I want to learn how to spend time being bored instead of like smoking away and then just passing my, because I could be more intentional with the way that I am with myself.
Sometimes if you just want to smoke.
No, absolutely. I'm like the queen. I'm like the queen of like, bitch, I will have a puff or 5.
Yes.
But right now I'm like in the process of learning like, okay, like what do you like to do when you have nothing to do? Yeah. Let's explore that.
Yeah. And that's a fun journey. Yeah. I love that for you.
Yeah. I'm unpacking that. So what is you quitting, Shadi?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's gonna sound kind of stupid. So I think it's something that has to do with like being brought up a certain way as well, and like our parents pretty much saying you have to like be successful so you have money, right? And so for the longest time I was just trying to chase money, and just not like think about like the consequences, whether my work-life balance is going to be good. And so I think I'm at a point where I really love my job and I'm pretty comfortable where I am. And so I think the one thing that I want to do is just quit chasing that fucking hustle and the money. Yes. Yeah. And because I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't like, I really do like where I am now. Like, why would I want to stress myself out? And so I think I just had a revelation on an issue that I've been trying to deal with this week. Like literally when you asked that question, because I've just been like, I think I've just been a little down because I was, approached for like an internal transfer for a much higher position, and like the pay is a lot more, but I'd have to move up to like the New York, New Jersey area. I'm like, do I want to do that? Like, I don't know. And it was like kind of bringing me down because I'm like, man, I really do love our house. But as much as I talk about leaving Florida so much, but then I'm like, do I need to, like, what is the point? And what am I passionate about? And I'm passionate about like my house and just like being with Brandon, and like not really, I'm like, what am I gonna do with like all that other money except for travel or whatever? But like we can travel now, and I'm just really happy with how like my work-life balance is. So I think I'm just gonna get out of that mindset where I have to chase all of these positions and money when I'm just like happy. And I think that that's something I'm trying to like, I've just recently started to unpack as well.
That is really beautiful, because a lot of times the mindset of getting to where you want is to get more and more and more. And it's the same with money, it's the same with like fame, it's the same with exposure, all of these different things. But like what you're saying is so beautiful, because I rarely hear people choose the joys in life over the amount of money that they're making, or whatever it is that they're achieving that is higher and higher and higher. I rarely hear people choose like, I love living my life. It's like contentment, but in like the best form, to where it's healthy for you, and you have this thing where you are now like, you're secured in the way that you're providing for yourself, and now you have all this space to find other joy in life instead of dedicating even more time to get onto the corporate ladder or whatever the fuck it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm really happy where I am right now, and fuck it. Like, I'm just, gonna stop chasing that dream or that shit. It's not even a dream. It's just something. It's like almost like trauma.
Yeah, it's just a mindset you don't even know that you're like, you're unconsciously just going at it.
Yeah, and so that's
awesome.
I think I've come to like a revelation this week with that. So
we love that.
Yeah.
We love that. I can't wait for more weird shit to go on in this house.
Oh my God, come back, please come back anytime.
Yes, and you have to record again.
Yes.
This was so fun.
I will.
I did not feel this hour at all.
Really? Neither did I. I was like, we just kept chatting. Chatting about all of our childhood trauma. Oh my gosh. I love you, Mom and Dad, but damn, you guys should be paying for my therapy bill.
They're like, oh, we know. That's
oh
so
my
funny.
goodness.
But thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for being here.
No, thank you for being here. I'm sure that like the Mental Chillness family loved you.
Aww.
And you guys can find her at Orlando Plant Lady, right?
Yes, Orlando Plant Lady, both on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
So, yes.
And please like head over to her page so you can see like the incredible fucking space. And honestly, like the reason why I honestly like wanted to record here and like wanted to get to know you and stuff is because I wanted to bring your influence into other people's eyes so that they can be inspired.
For sure. And I that if anything, I just want to put out there like just like you said, inspiration and just joy, you know, and happiness. And, who cares what anyone else thinks? I know that we hear that all the time, but seriously, when you let that go, it just feels so good, and you can just put whatever the fuck you want in your house.
Exactly. In your house, on yourself. You can cut your hair however you want.
Exactly. We just need to be free and just be happy, you know?
Yes.
Like, that's what it, just let go, everyone.
Gorgeous.
You know? Yes.
And namaste.
Yes.
All right, everybody. You can find Mental Chillness on Instagram at mentalchillness.podcast. TikTok, Mental Chillness 11, YouTube, Mental Chillness, Facebook, Mental Chillness Podcast. I'm Mega Con. And goodbye.
Bye.
Until next Monday.